Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Keith with Positively Osceola, and thank you for. Eventually, we're going to be thanking you for joining us for our afternoon coffee club discussion. This is a holiday, obviously, because I have water and no coffee in front of me. Obviously, there's something going on, so I'll have some water. So anyway, we'll talk for a few minutes till we get the thing all warmed up and responding as we hope it should. You said it should be Taco Tuesday, but it looks like it's Technical Tuesday. We will live with it. So we very special day here at Positively Osceola. We get to welcome a friend, and that will be Rick Johnson, the principal at North Kissimmee Christian School. They call you Coach. Still calling you Coach?
Yes, they are. Coaching for 25 years now.
That's a big deal. I'll turn this up a little bit. So kind of a challenging year for some, certainly, but why don't you just tell us how, with all the COVID-19 scenario, schools certainly had to adapt on the fly pretty much. So how did that kind of work for you guys?
It was kind of different for us because it happened right before spring break, and me and my wife had left to go to Maine to visit her family. And so we were in Maine. We heard that what was going on and how that they were going to be closing schools down. And so while we were there, people were telling me, you ought to just stay up there. It's more safe, up in the woods of Maine. And I said, I have to get back to the school to help figure out what we're going to do as we move forward. So it was very difficult at first, but we got back on the Monday we were supposed to go back to school. And at that point, we heard we'd only be out for a couple of weeks, supposedly. But right. We all know where that we all know where that took us.
It's been a long time.
Our teachers adapted well. We moved to Zoom, using Zoom as a platform, and we're able to teach live classes to our students. So it wasn't just sending out work for the kids to do. And we actually did all the way down to like second grade was where they started actually using Zoom with the second graders. So we heard a lot of things from other schools that they weren't having a good success rate, but we were right around 80% to 85% of our kids are showing up and getting their work done. So it went pretty well. Although we don't think it's the best learning strategies out there. We'd much rather have the kids in the school classroom.
It's interesting. I think it was probably, I'm sure you saw it too. You and your wife, I'm sure, noticed it on the internet, maybe a day or two, and people were running signs and banners saying, "We love teachers. We did not know," which is crazy, but that was really accurate.
It actually was Teacher Appreciation Week last week, and so I think that there's a new appreciation for teachers than there's ever been.
No question. So are you, now that you have a little bit of time, very little, but a little bit of prep time going towards 2020, 2021 school year, if this does, God forbid, but if this does go on close enough to the fall semester and you have to make a decision, will you be doing a similar strategy?
Oh, definitely. I believe that, like I said, we don't feel it's the best scenario for teaching. We love to have the kids here, and there's so much more to it than just doing book work or paperwork. And but we will continue to do as we finish the year out in the fall, if that comes to that. And again, like you said, we hope and pray that's not the case.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your school for those people who might not know, what you do, who you are, where you are. Go ahead and just give us a little bit of that so people can really understand who I'm talking to.
North Kissimmee Christian School has been in existence for 25. We just finished our 25th year. We use the ABECA curriculum, which is a very strong curriculum. You can research that if you'd like. It's ABEKA, ABECA. We are K3 all the way through 12th grade. We've always been that. We've graduated many students. This year we're graduating 18. We are having a graduation service on July 1st. We have a full sports program. We're part of the Florida Christian Conference.
Right.
Last year, our JV basketball team won the state championship, and our boys varsity came in second. So it was a pretty exciting year for us. We're one of the smaller schools in the conference, so it's pretty exciting. We actually got a chance to play Gateway High School with our boys varsity team and lost by 3. So
that's right.
Moving in the right direction there. But this school's, like I said, been here a long time. We don't do a lot of advertising, a lot of word of mouth. People are excited to hear what they hear from other people that have been in our school, and just good word on the street that we're a very sound school. Right.
Well, you are. So let me, as you were speaking, I thought, it's something that just didn't hit me until listening to you speak. So, basically a challenging scenario if the fall is a similar strategy throughout the county. The size of your school, do you feel that assists in you? I mean, what you said was you're having you're on the way to 90% of the students participating. When you had a quick change like that, that's a big deal. So do you think the size of your school really helps make you a sensible decision for parents?
I felt, thinking about the situation, that a lot of people might look to homeschool in the future because they want to get their kids out of big crowded areas, but they don't like the homeschooling situation because what they dealt with. Yeah. And so they might look to a smaller school environment to get their kids with less surrounding, and so I agree with that. And I think that seeing how we moved from regular teaching into the home and doing what we did, and it went really smooth, I think we did a fairly well job handling the situation the best we could.
And we said smaller school, I guess, than maybe a larger public school is. But in reality, why don't you tell us a little bit about the last facility you just added, because that doesn't exactly resemble a small school.
Yeah, we just built a new high school building that has 6 classrooms and a gymnasium. It's a beautiful facility. God has blessed us with that. And if you come by and see it, you'll understand. That's why a lot of kids, when they come in and play from other schools here, they're like, wow, this is awesome. I wish I went to school here. But so we have the facilities. We have about 70 high school students, and we have room for about 120 is all we want. So we don't have a lot of openings each year, but when we get to capacity. So we'll see what happens. Right now we do have open enrollment, preparing for this fall.
So obviously, you're a school that's affiliated with a Christian church, right? So that obviously opens up, this whole thing can be very confusing. People who may not be of faith, not sure which direction to look. So what have you been able to speak into the students' hearts and minds about this, that maybe this is an opportunity they didn't see coming that they can grow from?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot out there. If you listen to media, all different type of social media and people's ideas and agendas of what this whole thing is all about. And so the kids are confused. And so we know that there's a lot that God has us in control. He has everything in control, and he's there for us, and he'll always be there to provide and protect us. And so to share those things with these kids, is very important, that they don't get too depressed or in a bad state. We've had different situations. We've talked to students online that have been struggling really bad being home and not being able to get out. And so, but again, that's everywhere, and it's just great to be able to work with the kids and try to minister to them in that way to help them.
I keep thinking of Jeremiah 29:11, probably fitting this scenario a little bit. I know it makes its way onto lots of refrigerators. It's a popular one, but probably very accurate in this. So, so as we when do you think you're going to be able to? Are you going to? You may not be able to say this right now, but so are you looking maybe midsummer where you might be able to communicate with parents on what your decisions are? Or is it depending on what the school district does itself?
We follow the Osceola County School District pretty much to the T. I mean, there's certain things we take a different holiday because we take Good Friday off, but other than that, we follow their schedule to it. So that way it makes it easier for parents to know. They can look online to see what's going on, even like hurricanes. So when their Osceola County schools are closed, we're closed. So hoping to hear, soon. We are opening our summer daycare June 1st, which is going to be with a lot of different regulations to follow according to the CDC and DCF regulations to make sure we are in compliance with making sure we don't have any spread of the COVID-19. So, so we'll be working through the summer here, just preparing the school to be ready. And as we hear things, we'll keep updating as often as we can.
So if and I think you're correct, I think people are probably saying, look, what's the situation that I want my children involved with right now? Because people don't know what is safe, what is not safe. And that, I just mentioned this to somebody else earlier in an interview, a lot of this comes down to personalities and personal views of things, of events. And so what would you say to the community? Will you be able to let people come in and do tours of the facility and have a discussion, or is it all going to be distance-based discussions?
No, we're open for tours for people to come see the school. There's just minimal staff on hand. even with the summer camp, it'll probably be like 20 kids. It's not anything major. It's just daycare.
Sure.
And so there's not a lot of people around, so we don't have any problem with that. I've had different, like you said, people feel differently. I've had people come in with face masks on, and people come without them on, and
Sure.
and some are glad to see that you have it on, and some are like, you don't have one on, so I'm happy because now I don't have to wear mine. And so it's like there's all kinds of different opinions on how they feel about this. So, but we are definitely open. You can call the number and set up a tour time. I've had interviews this week with families that want to come to our school this fall as well. So.
Best way to communicate with you is the phone number, or go on the website and connect with you that way, or send email.
All those are acceptable. The phone call, you can leave a message if no one's here. Office hours have been 9 to 1, so that's a good time to call if you want to reach somebody or come in. As of June 1st, it'll be open regular hours, 8 to 4 or 9 to 4, something like that.
Awesome. Well, anything else you'd like to share before we close out and be thankful that the technology seems to have worked a tad better than it did earlier?
No, I'm just thankful for you, Keith, for what you do, and I appreciate everything. And we're excited about this fall, seeing kids back in the classroom, being back in the buildings and stuff. And so we're praying that's what God's will is, and whatever God's will, it will be done, and we'll reach the goal when we can.
Well said. My staff and I get to, one of the great things we get to do is to go to quality schools often. We get to do that every week. And we've known you and your wife for a number of years now. And you are stand-up people. You do an excellent job. And so I'll say this to anybody who might be listening as this continues to run through the internet, if you're looking for a school where you can count on communication from the staff, from the leadership, and that they have a heart and passion for the students, look at North Kissimmee Christian School on Brighton, Kissimmee. You would not be disappointed. Have that communication, have that discussion with Rick or his wife. That would be our recommendation. Well, I appreciate your time, Rick.
It's a true family, brother. That's what it's all about.
It is. All right. Thanks for taking the time. I know you guys are busy all the time, so thanks for spending a few minutes with us. And let's do this again as we start to find out more information about the upcoming school year. Would you mind doing this again with me?
I'd love to.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Keith.
I better say thanks, Coach, before I get out. Before I don't. That's a major mistake if I don't do that. All right. Again, this is Keith with Positively Osceola, along with the principal of North Kissimmee Christian School, Coach Rick Johnson. Together, we're making a positive difference in Osceola County. Take care, Rick.
Thank you.